This is True News Headlines. I'm Kerry Kinsey. It's Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. And these are your uncensored news headlines. A chartered plane carrying more than 200 Americans out of Wuhan, epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in China, landed in California. All the passengers passed a health screening during a fuel stop in Alaska. Now, they were taken to March Air Reserve Base in Riverside County. They'll get another screening and stay there while undergoing the repatriation process. The White House has told all U.S. airlines that it may ground all flights to China in a bid to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. More than 6,000 people have been infected. That includes 132 deaths. Airlines based in North America, Europe, and Asia are canceling flights to China. Among them is British Airways. Francis McGuire shows us what they're doing.
British Airways has suspended all direct flights to and from mainland China. It comes as British authorities warned against all but essential travel to the country due to the coronavirus outbreak. BA.com's website shows no direct flights to China are available in January and February. Other airlines have also stepped up measures to protect crew and travellers. Anyone flying with Taiwan's China Airlines will have to make do without hot meals, blankets and newspapers. Thai Airways is also spray disinfecting passenger cabins and the cockpit on all flights returning from China. Thailand had 14 coronavirus cases as of early Wednesday, the second worst hit country. Surikit Ratanachan is a Thai Airways manager.
We have in-flight entertainment, which means the LCD screens are being touched all the time, and so we deep clean every flight before departure. Thai Airways will not tolerate any harm towards passengers and aircraft safety.
Singapore Airlines have allowed their crew to wear masks on flights. Other airlines like South Korea's Air Seoul have taken more drastic measures and cancelled all flights. Finnair and Cathay Pacific have also stopped some flights. A slowdown in travel would likely hurt the aviation industry. The SARS outbreak in 2003 led to a 45% plunge in passenger demand in Asia.
Now, in just 2 days, China has converted an empty office building into a new 1,000-bed medical center to deal with the coronavirus outbreak. The new emergency facility in Huanggang will deal only with coronavirus patients. Meanwhile, those left in quarantine in Wuhan are sharing their stories of fear and confusion. In Hangzhou, 200 tourists remain isolated in a hotel. This is how the government is ensuring they have food to eat there. The first Japanese citizens who have returned from Wuhan say shops in the city of 11 million were often running out of food. They say it hasn't reached the level where food isn't available, but it's still becoming a growing concern for many people living there. President Trump's lawyers have finished their arguments to the Senate. Now senators can ask questions of either side. The debate over whether to call witnesses agitates both sides. Congressman Mark Meadows says calling former National Security Advisor John Bolton to testify is right out of the Democratic playbook.
I have evidence that they leaked when it was over in the House. My hypothesis is that this is part of a coordinated leak in order to change the narrative. To suggest that any particular Democrat did it, no, I can't do that. But I can say that there is a history of my Democrat colleagues leaking to some of you that are around here covering the press right now. I would go out and find that you had documents that I didn't even have access to before. Literally, I was finding out about the documents from all of you. So there is a history of that happening.
At a rally in New Jersey, President Trump told supporters, get rid of clown Democrats. He supported recently converted former Democratic Congressman Jeff Van Drew. For more impeachment news, visit TruNews.com. Well, for the latest in news and information from a Christian worldview, there's only one place to go, and that is TruNews.com. Don't forget who you're watching. Unfiltered news at True News Headlines.
Listen to the Bible from Hebrews 12. endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as sons. For what son is not disciplined by his father? If you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are illegitimate children and not true sons. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of our spirits and live? Our fathers disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, that we may share in his holiness.
Welcome back to TruNews Headlines. Virginia Democrats continue to slide toward total communism, and West Virginia Republicans are reminding their neighbors of a 158-year-old standing invitation. The Mountain State's Constitution allows for the immediate annexation of any county in Virginia that wants to leave Old Dominion. Governor Jim Justice reminded the Virginians in Second Amendment sanctuaries of that fact.
In 1861, West Virginia's first constitutional convention included 39 counties within the borders of the proposed new state, but also named an additional 7 counties, all of those that were adjacent to those 7 counties that would be eligible for inclusion if the people of those areas voted to be part of the new state. Now, when West Virginia's Constitution was drafted later that year, the number of counties was intentionally unlimited, with an invitation for Virginia counties to vote to join West Virginia, along with a statement that, and here's the statement, additional territory may be admitted into and become part of this state with the consent of the legislature. If you're not truly happy where you are, we stand with open arms to take you from Virginia or anywhere you may be.
Well, the governor says West Virginia is a state on the move and that it values personal freedom, the Second Amendment, and the rights of the unborn. He says, come join us. You will never forget it. So far, no Virginia counties have taken him up on his offer to secede and become part of the state in a movement called Vexit. The current U.S. military budget has allocated $5 billion to be spent over the next 5 years to develop hypersonic missiles. But a recent Global Security Forum event told us that Defense Secretary Mark Esper said that won't be enough to keep up with China.
The department nearly doubled its long-term investment, almost $5 billion more in FY 2020, for hypersonic weapons alone over the next 5 years. And our FY 2021 budget will be even stronger. We have significantly ramped up flight testing and other experimentation so that we can accelerate the delivery of this capability in all its forms to our warfighters years earlier than previously planned.
Well, if you don't know what a hypersonic weapon is, here's a quick explanation from the RAND Corporation.
Proliferating. There really are 2 types of missiles emerging: hypersonic cruise missiles and hypersonic glide vehicles. Hypersonic cruise missiles are powered all the way to their targets using an advanced propulsion system called a scramjet. These are very, very fast. You may have 6 minutes from the time it's launched until the time it strikes. So hypersonic glide vehicles are just that. They're a very fast glider.
The way it's launched is they put it on top of a rocket, it re-enters, then it flies on top of the atmosphere. It's like a plane with no engine on it. And it uses aerodynamic forces to maintain stability, to fly along, and to maneuver.
Because it's maneuverable, it can keep its target a secret up until the last few seconds of its flight.
Yeah, it's true. Hypersonic weapons are maneuverable, unpredictable, and hard to detect. The Army, Navy, and Air Force are all developing prototype hypersonic weapons. Super Bowl 54 is Sunday. With the big game comes a barrage of off-the-wall advertisements. The Israeli-owned hummus company Sabra will make history when it employs 2 drag queens to promote its product.
Ready, Cracker? Chickpeas. I was born ready. I hope this doesn't give me helmet hair.
Well, Fox, which is broadcasting the Super Bowl this year, approved of the drag queen ad. But when the pro-life group Faces of Choice wanted to run a 30-second ad of their own, they got stonewalled by the network's legal department. And at one point, the nonprofit was asked to identify every donor who contributed to the ad's production. The group was told all of the Super Bowl ad slots were sold out. Now Fox has new slots open, but has refused to respond to Faces of Choice's request to advertise. Well, during the National Pro-Life Summit, Heritage Foundation President Kay Cole James shared a powerful testimony about why she's so passionate on the issue of life and dignity for the unborn. She recalled a past debate on the issue of abortion. That's where she was asked how she'd counsel a poor woman who was pregnant with her 6th child, whose husband was an abusive alcoholic. Here's what she said.
And in the debate, she said, you know, I would counsel that woman. Now, you have to say this dripping and oozing with fake compassion. I would tell that woman that one of the best choices she could make for the children that she already has, and indeed for the one that she carries, would be to choose abortion, because what loving mother would bring another child into those circumstances? And I had the privilege of saying to her that night, and then many times since, I have a vested interest in how you would counsel that woman, because that woman was my mother, and that child she carried was me. She had no idea the plans and purposes that God had for my life. She had no idea that I would have the opportunity to dine with kings and princes and serve presidents and be the president of the Heritage Foundation. And so when I speak for those children.
What a great testimony. Each day on TruNews.com, we get prayer requests from viewers and listeners just like you. We'd love to hear from you and join with you for God to answer your prayers. We pray over each of those requests on a regular basis. I'd like to share one of those with you now. Dear Rick, pray for my daughter Sarah that she returns to the Lord. She is fragmented, oppressed, miserable, morally compromised with sin and deception, rebelling against her parents and your word. Breathe new life into her by your Spirit so that she knows that you are Lord. Restore her. And that's from Maureen. Well, Maureen, you may see the fruit of your prayers right away, or you might not ever see the result of your intercession. Either way, don't give up praying for your daughter. Accept her and love her without condoning unbelief. Continue to be Christ-like while setting an example of the goodness of God. Sometimes that nudge from the Lord will come from someone in their peer group or a coworker. All in God's timing, though. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18 says, "Rejoice always, pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." Well, to submit your own need for prayer, go to TruNews.com and use the TruNews app on your smartphone. Visit our website for more stories and find out how you can support our news efforts. And please like and share this edition of TruNews Headlines on your social media channels. All right, a biblical-like locust swarm has descended onto Africa. It's threatening to cause a drought which could shock the ages. Rick, Doc, and Edward will talk about that and the coronavirus in our panel discussion. For the entire True News team, I'm Kerry Kinsey. God bless you.